take it personal. Cause the devil is a lie. I'm telling you the truth. It's all in what you do. Some things you gotta do. Hey, barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, we go live, baby, every night. Sunday to Thursday now, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we rocking and rolling, y'all, man. When I say we rocking and rolling, shit, the hottest shit on the net, dog. And don't forget to follow me on Patreon. It's Barbershop Conversations on Patreon. And I wanted to talk about this date. You know, I'm a big stickler on money and shit like that, and like attempting. I'm not perfect, but attempting to understand from both sides, from 50,000 feet. And I remember I spoke about something a while back. I remember, and what I was saying is the business of boxing is funny, and they hide they sinisterness, right? And this is just me. This is just me. I'm just speaking because Floyd would not have this issue. You understand? And just to prove my point, when Floyd fought Conor McGregor, he fought him in August, if I'm not mistaken, to clear up all the traffic as it pertains to the Canelo pay-per-view. They always made a way for Floyd. They cleared everything out for Floyd, so everyone had money. He would hit his $1 million plateau. I don't know if that was his bonus, but he enjoyed saying it. You know what I mean? And credit to him, and credit for his business savvy, you know, shall I say, and them working together. But I'm looking at this November 21st date, right? And I'm just gonna go in order of why I'm kind of hesitant, right? Because we all believe Earl and Deontay to be Batman and Robin of PBC, right? We all can agree, right? In terms of like the most respected, the most draw, the biggest draw, you know. And I was thinking about the date, November 21st. One, last I checked, there was 52 million people on unemployment, and working age Americans, that's 1 in 4, right? Two, November 21st is the last of 3 pay-per-views. You got every month we have a pay-per-view. And if we include Mike Tyson, I'm gonna take my time on this. I actually got to rush because it's the first of the month, and I got to do some. Y'all know, if y'all got property, y'all know what the deal is on the first. And but I'm gonna take my time and sit on this one. I was about to rush this shit through, and I just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna sit on this one, so people can understand the business of boxing, right? And how you want to do business, so you have like the best chance to win, right? September 12th, you have Mike Tyson versus what is that? What's that guy? What's those two guys' name? Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. September 12th. September 26th, you have the Charlo brothers. October 24th, you have Tank Davis, and November 21st, you have Earl Spence. We have yet, and you say, Fred, why does that make sense? Because boxing is back. Everyone's gonna get excited. I would say Mike Tyson and him will probably do close to 500,000 pay-per-view buys, somewhere in there, 400,000 to 500,000 pay-per-view buys, and nostalgia. You know, I mean, you get to see your guy fight one more time. You know, the whole shebang. They go and people in media want clicks, so Mike Tyson does clicks, and the one of the bigger things is, I mean, there's so many different variances and variables as it relates to this. We have yet to see a break in the unemployment dropping. Congress right now is at a halt as it pertains to the second stimulus package, as you guys just saw on the news, or if you just click on anywhere, you'll see it. They have yet to release it, so people are um, hesitant to spend money, right? 1 in 4 Americans are unemployed, and wow, and they have yet to release. There's no jobs in sight. Um, what is it say? 30, close to 30% of jobs are not coming back. People gonna have to find new trades, new jobs, new forms of employment, whether it's entrepreneurship or actually working for someone else. And the other thing is that there's so many more pay-per-views prior to Earl Spence. And 4, what role will football play this season? In my humble opinion, football should not come back. You know, COVID shit is real. Y'all know Dre is a doctor. I hear stories all the time. Um, they're not good. From 0 age to death, 80, 90 years old, they're catching COVID, guys. So be careful, be safe, do your due diligence, take your zinc. As I have it right here. I got it right here. And it's just important that you guys pay attention to the details of this shit. Um, Earl is the last of 4 pay-per-views. It's a lot of traffic. Floyd Mayweather jumped in front of Conor McGregor. Um, Holiday season. We have yet to see a break in unemployment. I believe November 21st, and then we roll right into Thanksgiving that Thursday. So that's like a travel weekend. People are off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially in those executive jobs and stuff like that. And I'm not saying those are the highest propensity to buy the pay-per-view, but um, obviously, if you have an executive position, you probably will make more money. And that's the market that you probably have to attend to. And guess who capitalizes on that market? The NFL. Um, and I don't think the NFL is going to make it to November. I'll be honest. I don't think the NFL is going to make it. I just don't believe it, and not being pessimistic, but 51 people plus 20 coaches plus the laundry guy, equipment manager, excuse me. That's 100 people that will not be in the bubble. Like, if I'm a football player, I would sit back but that's neither here nor that's not about this. You guys can formulate those concepts on your own. But I'm watching this Earl Danny Garcia, who both fighters I absolutely admire. People say Danny Garcia is a average fighter. I say you fucking stupid. I think Danny Garcia is a phenomenal fucking fighter. I think he makes ordinary great. Fundamentally sound, flat-footed, strong, got rocks in both hands. And he's not going to get the respect until he retires. You understand? But Danny Garcia is a rock at 147. I've never seen him touch the canvas, if I'm not mistaken. Danny Garcia is a rock. All right. And I think some of y'all may disagree, but just off the top of my head, these are back-to-back, Deontay Wilder included. Those with Deontay Wilder, because he went from what's the guy's name? Shit, the other heavyweight in November, and then he fought Tyson Fury in 90 days. Luis Ortiz. I mean, this is about as tough as it get for back-to-back fights. Sean Porter brings hell every time he walks in the ring, and Danny Garcia is a rock. You know what I mean? He's durable, he's strong, and I think Earl Spence has bitten off as much as he can chew in a return fight. I actually think well, I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to make this about an opinion. I want to make this video all about facts. I think that's a hell of a fight, especially on the PBC stable. I think that's a hell of a fight. And my word to Danny Garcia and Earl Spence, they're not big on self-promotion. They have allowed their talents and their intellect and just their organicness to promote themselves, which is great. But I got a lot fighting against y'all. I think PBC could have moved the date, and I know y'all want the fight as soon as possible because of the checks. Danny Garcia only fought once last year, and he was on pace to only fight once this year. So I know he was getting a little bit antsy. But y'all got to get out and promote this fight. and I'm gonna just keep it real with you guys. Um, uh, stories and Instagram posts are not enough. Um, um, you got to connect. Oh, and that's the cool thing about it, is that they have very connected to the hip hop culture. Danny needs to connect with Meek Mill. Earl has a connection with Yellow Beezy, and branch off into their uh like their connections, and try and build this fight up. And as important as that, you got to do your YouTube run. Um, you got to do. I mean, you just got to hit every corner of the earth as it pertains to this pay-per-view, because it's gonna be challenging. I don't know how you're gonna convince someone to pay $50 when they just bought Mike Tyson's pay-per-view for $49.99. So I just want to make this video that I think you have one of the worst dates that you can possibly have because of the holidays, and over 50 million people are unemployment. 1 in 4 Americans are unemployed. 2, 3, there's no NFL. 4, you're the last of 4 pay-per-views. And you're gonna have to hit a lightning rod somewhere. Obviously we're gonna do our job over here, and promote the fight. If anyone has, I don't have a connection to Danny Garcia, so if anybody can get me in touch with Danny Garcia, feel free. I'm gonna reach out to Earl and see if he can come on and talk, because obviously, I mean, one interview on this channel fucking be the talk of the town for a week in boxing, right? Right, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. I appreciate you coming on last Sunday. Thank you. Um, but I think that y'all got to be more than diligent, because every day that ticks by, it's like you losing like 100 pay-per-view buys every day. And what I wanted to for y'all to consider, and it's what Deontay Wilder considered as well, when the option was to put Remains to Burn on pay-per-view. If that fight had gotten to the 3rd round, um, it would have did well over 1 million pay-per-view buys. People just sat down. People literally just sat down to watch that fight. The fight was over in less than 2 minutes. The fight was over. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that uh an option may be to take a guarantee. I don't know. I'm not speaking for them or in their business, but I just need them to see the bigger picture. You understand? It's gonna be it's so hard. And you're never gonna know the real numbers. But let me tell you, fighter, something this. If Mike Tyson does terrible in this market, listen to me and listen to me clearly. It's gonna be challenging for you to be successful, because unemployment is getting worse. It's not getting better. And Mike Tyson is pretty popular, Roy Jones, pretty popular, so be cognizant of reality. Don't be cognizant of hope and hype. Hope and hype. I like that shit. I'm gonna start using that more. Hope and hype. So be cognizant. An idea maybe what Deontay Wilder did. He took the guaranteed money, and just under 1 million people watched that pay-per-view. I mean, watch that fight on Showtime, because it ended in the middle of the 1st round. If it would have got to the 2nd, 3rd round, it would have been 1.1, 1.2 million easy for that fight. So be cognizant of that, because if you do Fox, you'll do 4 million homes. You'll do anywhere between 2 and 4 million homes easy, because you'll be the only show in town. They'll promote the hell out of you. But so and don't be saddened because people don't pay in these times. It's not because they don't support you. It's just that they got to make real decisions with their $50. You understand? So I think that so be cognizant of that and be understanding of it. I wouldn't talk about money. I would talk about that privately as it pertains to promoting this fight. And you might want to talk to Mr. Wagner, Mr. Heyman, about maybe a guarantee plus a bonus if you hit a certain number. Man, I'm not giving no more business ideas, because sometimes people don't appreciate that shit. You know what I mean? So, but I'll just say this: if you guys want it, just call me. Team Spence, Team Garcia, call me. Um, but I want to get Danny on the show. So if anyone can connect me with Danny, that'd be great. Um, I had Angels Garcia in my old phone, but this shit and this shit is old. So so but it may be an option to do what Deontay Wilder did against Bermain Stabern, have it free, and talk about your guarantee and all that. I know it's gonna be in the millions. Congratulations to both of y'all. But it's gonna be really hard to promote this fight, not because of we don't want to, not because of the shortcomings, but this climate is not conducive to a November 21st pay-per-view. I repeat, November 21st pay-per-view. That is right before Thanksgiving. People have to travel. Or people thinking about boxing on November 21st. I will. I love boxing. You understand? Floyd never had any competition. You think those Cinco de Mayo dates were by accident? No. They used the Mexican fan base and they said, well, if we use May and September, guess what? We have no competition with the NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, none of that shit. So everyone's focus was on Floyd Mayweather in May, Cinco de Mayo. You understand what I'm saying? I know it's the playoffs and all that shit, but the NBA by then is standalone. You understand what I'm saying? And in September, the NFL is in week 1 or week 2. You know what I mean? So you're always going to run into it, but the promotion, you understand, can stand alone, and it takes a life of its own. But I mean, Earl Spence, Danny Garcia is the fourth thing people think about. You got to worry about COVID. You got to worry about your job. You know what I mean? Like, I really haven't even transcended over to boxing. So I just want you guys to understand the pragmatic approach, you know what I mean, like as it pertains to this fight, and just be realistic. Weigh the options as it is to pay-per-view. Fox is going to push the pay-per-view because they don't want to put no money up for the fight. You understand? And uh so so it's real challenging when you have to balance everything in terms of Fox and in terms of Al Heyman, because Al Heyman has a relationship with Fox and Al Heyman has a relationship with the two fighters. So there are some delicate balances that must occur as it pertains to getting this fight done. You know, so just be cognizant of that. It seems like I mean not Earl, but Al has done a great job balancing that sheet now. But just be cognizant of reality, you know what I mean, as to November 21st, you know what I mean, and track those November. If I'm Danny and Earl, I would track all pay-per-views in November. Um, I remember Manny Pacquiao fighting in November or something like that on the pay-per-view or something like that. But I would track all pay-per-views the last 10 years in November. You know what I mean? And then you got to subtract 25% off top because you're just using numbers. You're just using parallel coincidences, right? So if you have a million let's use hypothetically, you understand, so you guys see what I'm talking about. If you have a million pay-per-view buys, right? And 1 in 4 Americans are unemployed. So you immediately take off 25% because 1 in 4 Americans can't afford the pay-per-view. You understand what I'm saying? So you find the median. So you do all the 10 years. So let's say the median for pay-per-views is 500,000, right? You take away 1/4. What is that? 125. 125. So now the highest you can do is 375. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to figure that out. What is 375,000 pay-per-view as it pertains to my pocket? Is it worth me doing pay-per-views? Or is it worth me taking this guarantee and getting $500,000 less? What's my cut of the pay-per-view? You understand? Uh, you got to take in all this, and Floyd talked about this a great deal. How he got the merchandise, he got the gate, he got all of that shit. He was very strategic as it pertains to that. And when you're promoting the pay-per-view, you're also promoting the network. You're also promoting the lead promoter. I mean, the lead sponsor and stuff like that. So be cognizant of that and use real numbers. Don't go on. See, I'm very much a real person guy, right? Like today is the first. Everyone's paying their rent today. I don't say, well, I'm gonna get a tenant. Maybe he can make the rent. No, what is and I always know October, November, December, people are gonna be late in December, especially December and January. I always get like 20% of my rent roll 20% of my rent roll that comes in late. So and that's just habit. That's just habitual. So you got to have that same pragmatics as it pertains to pay-per-views. So I would encourage Danny, understanding what's going on right now, understanding the realities of our economy, and two, I need you to track all pay-per-views in November and find the median, right? So you find all, you guys know how to do the median. Call me if you need help, and I'll help you guys as much as I can, because you got to weigh the options, because Dominic Brazil, Deontay Wilder did amazing numbers for this. So anyways, man, barbershop conversation, man. I gotta go. That's a tenant waiting on me. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.